A Moment with God and Minister Brittany Brown Simpson.
Welcome to A Moment with God and me, Minister Brittany Brown Simpson. When we look at Exodus 3, it reads, "One day Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led the flock far into the wilderness and came to Sinai, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the middle of a bush. Moses stared in amazement. Though the bush was engulfed in flames, it didn't burn up. 'This is amazing,' Moses said to himself. 'Why isn't that bush burning up? I must go see it.' When the Lord saw Moses coming to take a closer look, God called to him from the middle of the bush, 'Moses, Moses.' 'Here I am,' Moses replied. 'Do not come any closer,' the Lord warned. 'Take off your sandals, for you're standing on holy ground. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' When Moses heard this, he covered his face because he was afraid to look. Then the Lord told him, 'I have certainly seen the oppression of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries of distress, and because of their harsh slave drivers. Yes, I am aware of their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the power of the Egyptians and lead them out of Egypt into their own fertile and spacious land. It is a land flowing with milk and honey, the land where the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites now live.'" So what we have here is Moses tending to a flock, and the Bible says he turns aside. He had to examine a bush that was burning but was not being consumed closer. And what he found was that this bush is burning, but it's not being consumed. Can you just look at your life right now and find areas that may seem like they're on fire, that they are burning up, but if we really closely examine, the thing is not being consumed, the thing is not being demolished, because it's that thing that God is using to get your attention. And so in Exodus 3, Moses turns aside and he goes to the bush because it's amazing to him. How is this bush burning, but it's not being consumed? And just like that bush, our lives, there are areas in our lives that are burning, but they're not being consumed because God is using it to get your attention. The next thing the Bible says is that as Moses went toward the bush, the Lord called out and said, "Be still," or stay there, because take your shoes off, because the place that you stand is holy ground. Some of these things that we have going on in our life, yes, some of them we caused, but some of them are ordained places. The fire in our lives are ordained places that God is using to get our attention so that he can give us next level instructions. Now, if we look at the word, it's in the bush that God tells Moses, "I heard the cries of my people. And in the cries of my people, I'm about to deliver them out of Egypt." But why would he tell Moses that? Because Moses was his chosen deliverer. So I just want to encourage you that those places in your life that may seem like they're on fire, they aren't just on fire for any reason. They are the thing that God is using to get your attention, to try to talk to you. He wants to commune with you. He's telling you that this is holy ground. Take your shoes off. This is holy ground. And it's in this place where he gives Moses the instruction. So maybe if we shift our mindset for a minute and we think about those places in our lives that seem like it's chaotic and something that it's burning, God. This marriage is barely staying together. These children are barely doing what I want them to do. This job, God, you gave me this resource, but this job just is something ain't right. God says, the Bible says that when he examined, he went to examine the bush. So I just want you to look at those things in your life. And maybe those things are going on in your life because God is trying to grab your attention so that he can give you your next instructions. So I appreciate you all sitting with me today and examining Exodus 3. And I pray that the next time something is on fire in your life, that you will look for God in that fire. God bless you.